Berlin, 2008, at age 35, Haile Gebrselassie ran a marathon in under 2 hours and 4 minutes, annihilating the world record he already owned. But this is not just one race. It is the peak of a career defined by records that fell year after year, rivalries that shaped an era, and transformation across every distance. How do you measure greatness when the bar keeps moving? The answer begins thousands of meters above sea level in the childhood streets of Asella. Asella sits nearly 2,400 meters above sea level, a place where the air is thin and the roads are rarely flat. In this highland town, Haile Gebrselassie's days began before sunrise. He ran close to 10 kilometers each way to school, barefoot, moving through fields and dusty paths, his lungs working harder with every step. This was not training in any formal sense, it was daily life, repeated year after year. Altitude and routine created a consistent stimulus that would shape a career. Growing up at altitude shaped more than just his mentality. Scientific studies on runners from the RC region confirm that years spent running in low oxygen conditions develop a unique kind of efficiency. Muscles adapt to use oxygen with remarkable frugality, and the heart and blood carry more of it per beat. Peer-reviewed research on Ethiopian athletes from similar backgrounds shows VO2 max values averaging 80 to 84 milliliters per kilogram per minute, but it is the running economy that stands out, 5 to 12% better than sea-level athletes at racing speeds. These adaptations stem from childhood, not just months of training camps. In Asella, the routine was simple: run to school, run home, help on the family farm. Over time, this built a foundation of endurance that no laboratory could replicate. Gebrselassie's stride, shaped by years of barefoot miles, became light and efficient. Calf muscles grew leaner, tendons stronger. By the time he entered junior competitions, his body was tuned for distance in ways most rivals could only chase. The altitude, the daily mileage, and the demands of rural life quietly forged the physiological tools that would set him apart on the world stage. In 1992, Haile Gebrselassie stepped onto the world stage at the World Junior Championships in Seoul and left with the 5,000 meters and the 10,000 meters gold medals. His times, especially at just 19 years old, were not only the fastest in the field, they hinted at senior-level potential. A year later, he moved directly into the elite ranks, winning his first World Championship 10,000 meters title in Stuttgart. The progression was swift and relentless. By 1996, at the Atlanta Olympics, Gebrselassie claimed his first Olympic gold in the 10,000 meters, crossing the line in 27 minutes, 7.34 seconds, an Olympic record at the time. 4 years later in Sydney, he defended his title with a final 200 meters clocked at 25.4 seconds, holding off the field in one of the closest finishes in Olympic distance history. But his range extended well beyond championship racing. In 1998, at the Weltklasse meet in Zurich, he ran the 5,000 meters in 12 minutes, 39.36 seconds, breaking the world record and becoming the first man to dip under 12 minutes, 40 seconds. That same year in Hengelo, he set the 10,000 meters world record at 26 minutes, 22.75 seconds, running two perfectly even 5,000 meter splits of 13 minutes, 11 seconds each. These performances were not just fast, they set a new standard for what was possible in distance running. By his mid-20s, Gebrselassie had already proven he could dominate at any distance from 5,000 to 10,000 meters, with a combination of tactical intelligence and raw speed that made him a benchmark for the sport. 27 times, the world record books had to be rewritten because of Haile Gebrselassie. No other distance runner in history forced that kind of constant revision. His mark stretched from the 1,500 meters to the marathon, but the heart of his dominance played out in a series of relentless head-to-head battles. Paul Tergat, Kenya's greatest, became both rival and measuring stick. Their contests rarely ended with comfort. Victory often came down to fractions of a second. In Atlanta, Gebrselassie edged Tergat by just 0.05 seconds for Olympic gold. 4 years later in Sydney, Tergat unleashed his fastest ever final sprint, only for Gebrselassie to respond with the last 200 meters in 25.4 seconds, winning by 0.09 seconds. These were not isolated moments. Over a decade, Gebrselassie and Tergat met again and again at the highest level. Gebrselassie edge was not just in speed, but in his ability to absorb pressure. Whether it was the weight of expectation, the physical toll of a global racing calendar, or the knowledge that Tergat was never far behind. Even as new talents emerged and the sport itself changed, Gebrselassie kept breaking records, adapting his training and his racing to stay ahead. The frequency of his world records, combined with the intensity of his rivalries, placed him inside a crucible of competition that few athletes have ever experienced. Every season demanded reinvention, and every win was earned under the hardest possible scrutiny. At an age when most distance runners fade from the front, Haile Gebrselassie began a new chapter. In 2002, he lined up for his first marathon in London, a city that exposes the limits of even the greatest track athletes. His debut was anything but tentative. He finished third, running 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 35 seconds, one of the fastest times ever recorded by a rookie. Over the next 6 years, he refined his approach, studying marathon pacing, energy management, and the unpredictable demands of road racing. Each season brought new lessons and adjustments, and the results spoke for themselves: victories in Amsterdam, Fukuoka, and a string of wins in Berlin. By 2008, at 35 years old, Gebrselassie shattered the world record at the Berlin Marathon, running 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 59 seconds. He became the first man to run faster than 2 hours and 4 minutes, a milestone that seemed out of reach for athletes well past their supposed prime. The official split sheets from that race reveal a masterclass in even pacing, his first and second halves separated by only a handful of seconds. Physiological studies show that marathon performance typically declines after age 30, yet Gebrselassie results defied this curve. From his first global title in 1993 to his marathon world record in 2008, he maintained elite status for 15 years, a span unmatched by any distance runner of his generation. His longevity, measured not just in years, but in world-class performances, redefined what was possible for endurance athletes. Greatness in distance running demands more than medals or records. To measure Haile Gebrselassie place in history, analysts weigh dominance, versatility, longevity, championship success, and the strength of competition. The matrix begins with world record frequency. Gebrselassie set 27 world records, more than any other distance runner, and he held the 10,000 meters world record for a decade. Versatility is scored by range. His personal bests stretch from 3 minutes 31 seconds in the 1,500 meters to 2 hours 3 minutes 59 seconds in the marathon, a span unmatched even among the sport's legends. Longevity is quantified by a 15-year window at the top, with Olympic and world titles at both ends. Head-to-head results add context. Against Kenenisa Bekele, Gebrselassie edge was versatility and adaptation, while Bekele's peak years produced faster championship 10,000-meter times and greater cross-country dominance. Compared to Emil Zatopek, who won 3 golds in 1 Olympics but raced in a shallower field, Gebrselassie era adjusted marks stand out for consistency and global depth. No single score settles the debate. By every major metric, Gebrselassie remains a benchmark for endurance greatness. In 2001, Haile Gebrselassie launched the Great Ethiopian Run in Addis Ababa. The first edition drew 7,000 participants, but within a decade those numbers had multiplied. Annual entries now exceed 50,000, making it Africa's largest road race. This was not just a showcase for elite runners, it became a national event, drawing children, amateurs, and professionals into a single mass start. Over 1 million people have crossed its finish line since inception, a testament to the event's reach and the cultural shift it helped spark. Parallel to this, Ethiopia's distance medal tally soared. Before 2000, the country averaged about 2 distance medals per major championship cycle. After 2000, that average jumped to nearly 10 per year, with 76 gold medals in Olympic and World Championship distance events from 2001 to 2025. The pipeline that once produced a handful of global champions now delivers dozens. Many young runners trace their first competitive race to the streets of Addis Ababa, inspired by Gebrselassie example. His influence is visible not just in record books, but in the ongoing surge of Ethiopian talent and the normalization of distance running as a national pursuit. Every year, new records fall and new champions rise, but the standard Gebrselassie set, across distances, eras, and ages, still defines endurance greatness. As technology and training evolve, his example remains a challenge. Just how far can human limits be pushed? The pursuit continues. What do you think?